Would you like to hear my song? I'm afraid it's rather long. Of the famous road to Richmond double trouble, of the half a dozen trips and the half a dozen slips, and the very latest bursting of the bubble. 'Tis pretty hard to sing, and like a rolling ring, 'tis a dreadful knotty puzzle to unravel. Though all the papers swore when we reached Virginia shore that Richmond was a hard road to travel. Yes, pull off your overcoat and roll up your sleeves. Richmond is a hard road to travel. Pull off your overcoat and roll up your sleeves. Richmond is a hard road to travel, I believe.
Hello everyone, it's History Boy, and in September of 2021, the 8th and 14th Connecticut Reenactment Regiments encamped at Struan Manor in Morton's Ford, Virginia, and became the first people to cross Morton's Ford in the Rappahannock River since 1864. We were thrilled to be accompanied by a representative from the American Battlefield Trust, and are happy to take note that the field is now being recognized by the Trust. If you'd like to help save America's Revolutionary War and Civil War battlefields, donate today. The link is in the description.
We're here today, we're at the Morton's Ford battlefield, and the reason we're here basically is because we're trying to bring emphasis to the preservation of this site. It's been a long-standing thing with the 14th that we try to preserve land, try to save this land where our forefathers fought on, and we have a lot of us that had relatives here. We're joined this weekend by the 8th Connecticut. We're so glad. We've done a lot of work with them in the past about preserving stuff and going out and doing activities to help save land for Battlefield Trust and for other organizations. I met Bud Hall. He's basically our host here this weekend and a caretaker of this area. And Bud is he's a great preservationist down here and has done a tremendous job in Culpeper, Virginia. Talked with him, he told us about the place, he offered us to come back and camp out here and help out, you know, bringing light to this area for the American Battlefield Trust and for the Friends of Culpeper County. And it's just something we feel very strongly about. And it's probably because of, for me, it's my relatives. They were here, and it's what they did for this country, and I want to keep honoring that, and I want to bring that to other people and save the places around this country. And, you know, whether it's Virginia, whether it's Connecticut, whether it's Pennsylvania, I want to save these places so future generations can come here and see what we see, learn from it, and, you know, basically help our country become a better place for all of us as Americans.
Kathleen Mavourneen, the grey dawn is breaking, the horn of the hunter is heard on the hill, the lark from her light wing, the bright dew is shaking. Kathleen Mavourneen, what's slumbering still? Oh, hast thou forgotten how soon we must sever? Oh, hast thou forgotten this day we must part? It may be for years, and it may be forever. Oh, why art thou silent, thou voice of my heart? It may be for years, and it may be forever. Then why art thou silent, Kathleen Mavourneen?
Assuming you have those memorized, so.
No.
Kathleen Mavourneen, awake from thy slumbers, the blue mountains glow in the sun's golden light. Ah, where is the spell that once hung on my numbers? Arise in thy beauty, thou star of my night. Mavourneen, Mavourneen, my sad tears are falling, to think that from Erin and thee I must part. It may be for years and it may be forever, then why art thou silent, thou voice of my heart? It may be for years and it may be forever, then why art thou silent, Kathleen Mavourneen?
One of the main reasons we do this is for the connection to these people of the past that, you know, were very much like us, very much the same type of people that we were. And so when you can understand that they had the same emotions and they had the same feelings and the same desires and hopes and dreams and everything, it makes a connection between us and them, and it makes you feel like that they are real and they were real people. So when we do these preservation marches or when we do living history type events, the ultimate goal really is to try to get other people to feel the same things that we do, and we translate for them what we feel in some small part in acting the part of what these men did, and talk to other people about how, wow, this was, you know, they had to march in a very cold day. They had to cross and get soaked in the river, and then they had to go into battle after that, and they had to fight for their lives, basically, and try to convey the fear that they felt during the day and how uncomfortable it was all day. And just the fact that, you know, people like us who live under roofs and go home to, hopefully a happy place at the end of the day, these were people that lived outside all the time, and they had to carry everything with them. And so trying to put yourself in their place and say, how would I have felt? How would I have acted? Could I have done that same thing? We try to get people to get that sense of reality from these types of events. And it really can only happen if we can preserve these sites and we can actually have the location to do these events and to walk in the same footsteps as these people, to understand the context of what's going on. And that's where, to me, preservation of Morton's Ford and the Culpeper County sites are particularly important in the way that the organizations here have so nobly done.
The Rapidan River and two transportation arteries going through the center of the county. The Old Carolina Road, aforementioned, and the Orange and Alexandria Railroad in 1854.
Before we began our march to Morton's Ford, Bud Hall gave us an insight into the background and events of the battle. Following his speech, Bud stepped into our ranks and took a photo with the 8th and 14th Connecticut Volunteers. Before we set out on the march, we ate a quick lunch of hardtack and biscuits. After another quick talk from Bud, showing us some photos and maps of the battle, we were ready to begin our march to the ford.
In Uncle Sam's Dominion in 1861, the fight between secession and the Union was begun. The South declared they'd have the rights which Uncle Sam denied. Or in their secession wagon, they'd all take a ride. Hurrah for the wagon, the old Union wagon. We'll stick to our wagon and we'll all take a ride. The makers of our wagon were men of solid wit. They made it out of charter oak, which would not rot or split. Its wheels are of material, the strongest and the best. And two are named the north and south, and to the east and west. Hurrah for the wagon, the old Union wagon. We'll stick to our wagon and we'll all take a ride. This good old Union wagon the nation all admired. Her wheels had run for 80 years and never once been tired. Her passengers were happy as along her way she whirled, for the good old Union wagon was the glory of the world. Hurrah for the wagon, the old Union wagon. We'll stick to our wagon and we'll all take a ride. Hurrah for the wagon, the old Union wagon. We'll stick to our wagon and we'll all take a ride.
Halfway to the ford, we stopped for water and a final briefing by Bud. Then we entered the dense Virginian underbrush, marching away from the wide open soybean fields and marching onwards to Morton's Ford to commence our ceremony and our crossing of the ford, becoming the first men to cross since 1864.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and lamps. I have read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have read a fiery gospel writ in burnished rows of steel. As ye deal with my contemner, so with you my grace shall deal. That the hero born of woman crushed the serpent with his heel, since God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching.
Not knowing the depth of the water or the strength of the rapids, our tour guide, Bud Hall, became the first man to venture across the river since 1864. The 14th Connecticut then led a short ceremony at Morton's Ford, reading aloud the names of all of the fallen men from the 14th Connecticut and a summary of the action that day on the banks where the 14th Connecticut actually crossed and the battle actually took place.
Today, we gather at Morton's Ford Battlefield to honor all the soldiers that fought here, in particular the Connecticut soldiers who sacrificed so much on these fields. The Connecticut soldiers that fought here were from the 14th Connecticut Volunteer Infantry. They were mustered into service August 1862 in Hartford, Connecticut. They would fight in 34 engagements, including such engagements like the attack on the Bloody Lane Antietam, the storming of Mayor's Heights at Fredericksburg, the holding of the Angle at Gettysburg, fighting in the dense underbrush of the Wilderness, deadly fighting at the Mule Shoe, and the fighting around Petersburg, to name a few. Wintering here at Stony Mountain, during the winter of 63-64, they would cross this ford and engage the enemy on February 6, 1864, suffering the most casualties, 115 that they would suffer in any single engagement in the war. We are located here at the crossing point on the Rapidan River, used by the 3rd Division of the 2nd Corps, where the 14th Connecticut Volunteer Infantry advanced to engage the enemy forces. Chaplain Stevens would sum up this battle. No battle was to be what the Battle of Morton's Ford was, for while this was not one of the great battles of the war, the 14th may be said to have been in it in the fullest sense. At this time, I'd like to place a wreath in honor of these soldiers. The names of the 14th Connecticut soldiers that were killed or mortally wounded here. A couple of these would die later due to their wounds. Company A, Cornelius Reardon, Charles Hyatt. Company B, Frederick Harrison. Company C, William Brahamy. Company C, Alexander McNeil. Company D, Edwin Brockett. Henry Orcott, Henry Owens. Company E, Wesley Banks, Watson Jones. Company F, Danford Davis. Company H, Robert Chadwick, Silas Fox. Company I, Armory Allen, John Daniels, Francis Norton, and Charles Schlesinger. Company home. A, fight! Ready! A, fight! Hey! Fire! Fire! At this point, I'd like to thank everybody that came today. This is it touches my heart that this many people would make the trip here to be here. I'd like to thank our hosts, Bud and Chris, for their work here in helping us interpret this battlefield, and everybody else that came to be here with us. Okay, I'd say this is a very important time, and for me it's very touching that we did this and that we're here to experience a little bit of what the 14th Connecticut had to endure that day in February 6, 1864. So thank you very much. Hip hip! Hurrah! Hip hip! Hurrah! Hip hip! Hurrah! At this point, Captain Broach and I will approach the ford. Captain Broach is going to stand in for General Hayes, yell out what Hayes yelled, and then the rest of the regiment falls. As I do this frog!
Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the cry of freedom, and we'll rally from the hillsides and gather from the plains, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and on with the star, and we'll rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are springing to the call of our brothers gone before, shouting the battle cry of freedom, and we'll fill the vacant ranks with 1,000,000 freemen more, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever. shouting the battle cry of freedom, and we'll hurl a rebel crew from the land we like the best, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and on with the star, and we'll rally on the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are shouting the battle cry of freedom.
Following our river crossing, the regiments closed out our march by visiting the actual portion of the battlefield where the 14th was engaged.
I think of the 14th Connecticut up here fighting for their lives, and this is where most of their casualties take place, right here to my right, your left, in this ravine and back down in here. And up around the house, which is here, that's the house, that's the graveyard. And I think of them hunkered down under fire and looking back 5, 6 p.m. if they could see it. And I don't have any accounts where they're looking back to Stony Point, because it would be questionable if they could see it. Raining, but there it is. I am honored to be a founding board member of the Chantilly Battlefield Association, an original preservation organization in this country, Battlefield Preservation Organization. From there, I went on to help co-found the Association for the Preservation of Civil War Sites, the forerunner of today's American Battlefield Trust, the largest and best battlefield preservation organization in the country. The American Battlefield Association, created out of whole cloth, incidentally, its prior entity, the Association for the Preservation of Civil War Sites, created the Brandy Station Foundation, and I'm a founder of that organization. I have worked here for the past 30 years, a bit more, to help the American Battlefield Trust save battlefields in Culpeper County, Orange County, and Fauquier County, Virginia, and principally focused in these areas. We own a couple thousand acres in Culpeper County. We have a lot of acreage in easement, the American Battlefield Trust does, and I help them interpret that property, help them protect that property, help them tour guide that property, and I maintain relationships with landowners around the county and around each of these battlefields on behalf of the American Battlefield Trust. We're always honored to have descendant groups of ancestors who served and fought in Culpeper County come here for tours, and recently 14th Connecticut Volunteers and the 8th Connecticut Volunteers came down from Connecticut, and we had 3 days of reenactments on Culpeper County at Morton's Ford, the home, if you will, the venue of the Morton's Ford battle, February 6, 1864. We camped at Struan, a farm on the Rapidan River that fronts Morton's Ford, the site of this great battle, February of 1864, the 14th Connecticut Infantry. We had a great time crossing the Rapidan River itself at Morton's Ford itself yesterday. An honor and privilege to do that. We have friends among the landowners on both sides of the battlefield. They allowed us, they gave us permission to have this encampment, have these tours, cross the Rapidan River, which I thoroughly enjoyed, as you can probably tell. And so we're honored that the 14th Connecticut, the 8th Connecticut could come down and help us commemorate, memorialize the battlefield of Morton's Ford. We're grateful to these regiments for honoring their ancestors. They placed a wreath down at Morton's Ford to their fallen during the Battle of Morton's Ford. We're honored to be able to assist them in doing that, but my thanks goes out to them for reaching out, wanting to do this. It honors what we do here as we try to save battlefields in Culpeper County. It honors and makes even more important that which we do here on behalf of the American Battlefield Trust in trying to save battlefield land along the Rappahannock and Rapidan rivers. And thank you very much. Come and see us anytime.
Thank you all so much for watching this video, and especially for staying until the end. Please consider donating to the American Battlefield Trust today to support the preservation of America's Civil War battlefields. I would like to give a huge thank you to Bud Hall for guiding us and working to sign this land into easement, preserving it forever. We are honored to have worked with the American Battlefield Trust and with Bud Hall. We'd like to also extend a hearty thank you to all of the local farmers for their hospitality and for allowing us to access the land surrounding the Morton's Ford battlefield. We look forward to returning to Morton's Ford this coming February on the anniversary of the battle.